Hello everybody, this is Felicia, and I know you're probably noticing this pile of stuff on here on the table. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to start talking. I'm going to remove this and we're going to start talking about albums. Yes. Okay, so hopefully I can pull this off pretty smoothly because I want to start with one of my first albums that I ever started scrapbooking, which is this one right here. And we're going to move these over to the side and we're going to talk about this guy right here. And I'm going to get this camera straight so you can see it better. There we go. I hope you can see this. This is a 12 by 12 Postbound album. Okay, so this, I'm going to confess, is not my very first album because the very first album that I had got destroyed. I had, so I had to pull everything out and put it into this album, and I have it upside down. There we go. So it's a Postbound scrapbook album, and you remember these when they came out a while ago, and they had a little window, and you'd put the picture of whoever the scrapbook was about, whether it be a specific child of yours or family member or the whole entire family or whatever it may be. You always would put something there in that particular window. So what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about the different albums. This is, like I said, a Postbound album. And I think they still sell these, but you could see the post right here, top and bottom. And you would take like a quarter, dime, nickel, whatever would fit in here, and you would unscrew that, or you could use a flathead screwdriver. But this is how my scrapping style was at the beginning. Believe it or not, this page took me about an hour to create. I remember that because I was like, wow. That took a while. And then I printed this off of my computer. Oh my gosh. And the crazy thing is I was printing things off the computer at that time. So, and of course you can see some of the collage style. Let me move these out of the way here so we can get us a really good view of my old school scrapping style. Now we're not going to go through, oops, now we're really crooked. We're not going to go through each and every last one of my albums, but what we are going to do is we are going to I'm just going to give you a general idea of Postbound. So Postbound has a little this reinforcer right here, and then once you scrap the page you would put it in here. Now these Postbounds are Postbounds with the protector plus on top of putting it in the page protector itself. This is a 12 by 12 page protector, and you can see, as you can see, these are like how I started scrapping back in 1998. They're still hanging around. This is my son. He was the first one I started scrapbooking. As you can see, all of his stuff. And then right around about here is when the style started changing. So I decided to pick up the scrapbook again, started kind of changing my style. It's still pretty basic. This is the stitching that I did as well on the book. So that is your Postbound album, okay? Now, the other albums that started coming out were more so like the chipboard albums. Slam. So this is let me see if I can get here. This is a chipboard album, 12 by 12. And they come plain, and then you decorate them yourself, which is what I have done. And I put family over here, and these are rub-ons, and they've rubbed off over the years. And then there's a missing little element that was here, but this is what I did. I would decorate them, and I used 12 by 12 papers, and then I would cover it with some pattern paper. So these are called the 3-ring binders. Now there's a difference. These are not the 3-ring D binders. In other words, it's a ring that's rounded on one side and flat on the side of the edge, and it looks like the letter D. These are just your 3-ring binders. And these are the page protectors that you can put in here as well. So these are pretty much what I would call kind of like, you know, the cool. I like the 3. When they came out with these, I went and bought a ton of them because I like these better than I like the Postbound. So this is like, once again, some of my scrapping style. These go back to 2008, 9, 10 when my grandson was around and he was little and stuff and turning 1 and all that other good stuff. So, but this is what it is called, and you can see the ring is rounded in here. It is not flat on the one side, which it'll be. This will be the side it would be flat on. It is rounded, so you can see that there is a difference. Okay, so that is the 12 by 12. Now the next one is a 3-ring as well, and it is one of the Pleather albums that they still sell today. These albums are pretty cool. I got a bunch of these too when time came out, you know, when they first came out. Whoops. Okay, sorry about that. I hit the camera. Anyway, so this is pretty much another 3-ring album, but it is a pleather album. In other words, fake leather. And you could put your layouts in your page protectors and then put them in the binder, and they would be pretty much kept safe. And they pretty much are. Once you put your stuff in a page protector, it is safe if you want to keep it that way. So, and then we'll get into more about page protectors here in a little bit, but that's the 3-ring pleather, and this is a We Are Memory Keepers album. Boy, yeah, I bought this a while ago. Now the next album is called a Project Life album. This album was built to keep a lot of stuff, a year's worth of photos, documentation, and everything else. This is from 2011. I started Project Life back in 2010, and I've been doing it for a while, and then I just stopped altogether because all my children were gone. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to be doing it. So now I do my memory keeping a different way in a 6x8 album, and we'll show you that as well. So pretty much this is Project Life. What I would do is I would take the calendar in here so I know what week it was. And then it always started out with an introduction page for the year, and then it would go into all of the stuff throughout the year. Now, this is one whole year. Now, as time went by, oh, I think this is coming up, yeah. As time went by, oh, and it has a little divider, so you can divide up the months, too. As time went by, the albums, my Project Life album started coming into double albums. Oh my gosh, which was insane. So, yeah. So pretty much, I think that was one of the biggest reasons why I stopped Project Life like that, because these were getting too much. And plus the storage. Storage is another thing you have to consider when you are purchasing your albums, by the way. And we'll get into that as well. The next album is an 8.5 by 11 album. This album is pretty cool. This is pretty much where I store all of my 8.5 by 11s, because what I preserve my 8.5 by 11s is stories, more deeper into stories. So I put them in these 3-ring binders here, and I've been doing this since 2014. When Allie Edwards came out with her very first story kit and story stamp. And so, well, she came out with her story stamp. So what I have done, and let's see, yeah. Oh, so what I have, I'm sorry. I started putting these in there in 2015, right there. January 1st, 2015. So what I started doing was I started putting all of my 8.5 by 11s in here to tell deeper stories using her story stamp. And then she came out with her story kit, and that's when I think I started doing it, because the story kit didn't come out until like a few months after the story stamp. So these are just extra page protectors, and then I have these archived from the back to the front. So this is my most recent 8.5 by 11 that I've put in here. It is not the most recent one that I've done. You've seen my videos in the past. I've done 2 more, and I need to put them in here. So they're going in here. And I'm running out of space in here, so I definitely need to get another 8.5 by 11 album. I like this size. It works great for storytelling, but I also like the 6 by 8. Those two albums are how I'm doing my stories now these days. So, but as you can see, it holds quite a bit. I have quite a bit of layouts in here, but if you go all the way back, this is where I'm taking you all the way to the back. Actually, I don't know why this is out of order right here. Oh my goodness. So this is the very, very first. It's coming up. This is the very first layout I did with the Ali Edwards first story kit. Isn't that interesting? It's the story of the first. And I did this January 8th of 2015. So I have been putting these in albums for a long time and started doing my stories in a long time. I like this one. This is more of an interactive one here. And this was also one of the ones that I did. But I started putting all of her stuff in my album, in an 8.5 by 11 album back then. So, yeah, this is pretty much it. And I'm not sure how they got out of order, but we'll just put that back in order. This is another in-depth story that I wanted to tell, so much so that it was on a different page, and those are my modeling pictures from back in the day. We're going to switch that. This is another first. This first should be with the other first, because this first is me January. I wrote this on January 1st of 2015 of me completing a marathon in 2005. So this is done 10 years later. I never really put it in an album, but I did until I put it in there in 2015. So, and then, but yeah, so you can use this album. This is 8.5 by 11. This album has been around since 2015, so it's seen better days. I'm not sure how much longer this one's gonna last, but I even have AE story stamp on here for that. Okie dokie. So now, alrighty, okay. So now we're starting down and going down into the smaller albums. Now this is my One Little Word album for 2021. I'm actually working on 2022. I have been doing One Little Word since Ali started this, which was in 2010. And so, yes, it's been that long. So, I love I have 8.5 by 11 albums in the rest of my One Little Words, but my last since 2020, I think it's 2016. Yes, 2016 is when I started putting them in these 6 by 8 albums. Oh my gosh, I'm just really confusing myself. So this is kind of like, this is stuffed, and there was a lot going on in 2021. We were still kind of sort of in that pandemic mode. And so there are things in here that I wrote about that are not pleasing to the eye. So I keep some of it private because most of it's good though. But there are some days in here where I'm like, nope, no. So, all right. So let's see. So I have a bunch of these little tinier, smaller albums up there on my shelf. So I just thought I should pull out the most convenient and most recent one here. So. Okie dokie. So now we're going to get into some of the another one of the 8.5 by 11s now. 6 by 8. Oh my goodness. So this is how I tell my stories now. As you can see, most of them are, and then I've adapted some of the out of the page protectors. As you can see, none of these, this is not in a page protector. And so this one is, so some of them are, like this one's not in a page protector. This is when my daughter graduated. I still haven't put my stuff in here too, because I got to get my story going in here. And this is not in a page protector, but I like this little interactive thing where I put the tab there and then I flip it over and then I have the story here. And the back of it in this photo is not in a page protector. So I have been adopting the I don't want to put you in a page protector motto, you know, so, and I like it actually. I am impressed. I like this style. I like how I'm doing this. And so I have a few other stories that are pretty much going to be going in this album. I just haven't put them in there just yet because I'm still working on a few of them. So now we're going to go and we're busting all the way down to this guy, this size. Now this one is empty. I'm going to be using this one specifically for short little stories. I mean, they're going to be still stories, but they're going to be smaller in scale. And I'm thinking of, I like this size, but I can't seem to get a hold of another one of her cloth ones. So, but I will definitely get a hold of this. And so this size, if I'm not mistaken, is the 4x8. And I love this actually, or 3x8, 3x8, that's right. And I really love this. This is from Ali Edwards, and it's got the little cloth linen cover there. It's another album. And then we're going down, busting down even further to the 4x6. This was a project through Ali Edwards, and this was the day in the life. And I did a day in the life with them, and I had to put the second part of the day in the life in here for the second part of the year, because this is another day. Now, this is all what I did in a day. And I can only imagine the stuff. You know, I cleaned the garage that day. I happened to have to be cleaning that garage that day. Had already set it for that day. You know, I had homework to do later, you know, things like that. And then this one came with a little envelope and another, like, craft envelope in the back. So this is another 4x6 album. Okay, and now we are down to our Traveler's Notebook sizes, and I have the mini size and I have the regular size. These are some of the layouts that I have done in my Traveler's Notebooks. Oh my gosh, this was so good. It was so good. I put a little interactive tag in here you pull out so you can read it. The snow, this, and this was so good too, because you can tell I love desserts, you guys. So this is another one here, another one that's interactive, and that's what I like about the interactive, the Traveler's Notebook sizes, because a lot of my stuff is interactive. I even put one here, and this was cool. I just decided to do a little bit of like art journaling in it and everything and all that other good stuff. But yeah, see? So yeah, this is, and then this one says, you don't have to see the whole staircase just to take the first step. Oh, I love that. So this is a Traveler's Notebook size, and it's usually by 4 1/4 by 8 1/4. So that's usually the normal size of this. And then even to this one, and I got this from Everyday Explorer. I got the digital kit. I printed it out, made my own cover with some textured paper. I added some vellum in here, and once I got this all printed out from Everyday Explorer, I did the Positively Passport project that was being done in July during the pandemic. We all needed this, so this was the perfect time for me to get on board with this, and I really enjoyed this. I just haven't gotten around to ordering any more from Everyday Explorer, but I would love to do that. So, but here is the rest of the book here, and it was an everyday little thing you would stamp, and I had like it, you know, made my own sticker stamps, and I would write in here and everything like that. So that's pretty much what this is, and this size is 3x4, I think it is. I think so. I think it's 3x4. Yeah, I think so. Don't quote me on this one, but that's what you can put your stories in any album. All right, guys. So I'm gonna bring these all back so you can kind of get a second look, and well, mostly the small ones, so you can see what you can choose from to use as a scrapbooker if you're just starting out. I know this was a lot, but you make up your mind on what you want. There is no right or wrong way. Yeah, there is no right or wrong way for you to choose on how you want to keep your memories and store your memories. So this is another scrapbooking essentials thing. So choose an album, choose your size, choose whatever you want. It could be tiny, it could be Traveler's Notebook size, this size, this size. It doesn't really matter how you decide to store and choose your photos. Don't let anyone persuade you into thinking that you have to have a certain size, because you really don't. And you don't even have to have an album, to be honest with you. You can just put your stuff in, you know, as as you scrap and stuff and put your layouts together, you could just put them in page protectors or not. You could just leave them in a pile. Some people do. Some people leave them in piles. So anyway, so I thought you might enjoy this. I hope you enjoyed this. So please let me know. And I apologize about my camera challenges. I guess my stand is kind of telling on me or something. I don't know what's going on with it, but I haven't had it that long, and it's really kind of, I don't know, it's just irritating me. It just keeps going up and down side, and I tighten these things up so much, I don't know. I might have to get another one. It just depends. Anyway, guys, so I thank you for staying around, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and we're going to be moving on, and I will hopefully be coming out with a Scrapbooking Essentials 3, and I'm not going to tell you what that one is, but it's a secret. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.